Hey guys, it's Lisa, and we are going to do things a little bit different today here in this video for a few different reasons. One, I just ordered a new camera. It's actually the same camera I was using. I love it, but it had gotten older and was wearing out. So I just ordered that. So I thought I would do this video today on my laptop. I have a new MacBook laptop, and it's for two reasons. One, because I know this battery's not going to run out and it's not going to burn up on me. And two, because I am promoting my carnivore course and wanting to do other courses, I wanted to give you a little taste of how it will be when you do take my online courses. Because I am certified as a life coach, and I have been in so many classes, and to this day, I'm in a lot of classes. I'm in a big one right now. But no matter how many certifications I get on anything, the kind of coach and mentor and guide I want to be for you is called a proof of concept. And that means I'm not going to be talking about anything that I haven't embodied, experienced, and feel so good about that I want to help others feel, experience, and achieve. Carnivore is one of those, and I feel like I have a very, very unique experience with carnivore because of my age, because of being a woman, because I didn't start out to be on carnivore, because I have been successful for this month, May 2025 is 5 years. And that's a lot to accomplish, to not have even started out to do this. I was going through menopause. I was just in pain. IBS, just fuzzy head, falling down like I had never, ever experienced falling down like I did. I fell down at the beach walking. I fell one time, lost my balance, and fell getting in the truck with John. One time I fell in the laundry room, and I still say there was something in there that made me slip. But I even remember John, my husband, just like, what the heck is going on with you? Achy joints, etc., etc., not sleeping at night, yet having to take a 2-hour nap during the day. So it was so depressing. It was so depressing for every reason because I have always been a doer. I've always been a high achiever, a visionary. And when you start feeling like you can't do those things ever again, and even the little things, I've always loved heels. I've always loved just all the things that make me me. YouTube even. Doing my fashion videos. No one wants to do a fashion video when your stomach is so swollen that you look like you're about 3 months pregnant. So when I came to this carnivore diet journey, it was the Elimination Diet. And John was eating an avocado the other night, and it just brought back all those feelings. Matter of fact, he had opened it, and I said, he was trying to get the pit out, and I said, do the knife like that, because that's, stuff I had learned. And I said, yeah, remember I ate that with everything bagel seasoning? And that is before I learned the whole concept of how seeds are a plant or a fruit's baby. And people like me that are extremely sensitive to vegetables, lectins, oxalates, and all of those things, it really did just work a number on my system. And I also tried cucumbers and took the seeds out. When you start feeling so much better after being on meat only, even if you have the mindset that you are going to start adding other things, this isn't forever, all of these things. And that's what we're going to talk about today is mindset, because I think it's so critical. And I think it's something that I can really help you with and make it more doable, successful, take out all the just rules and just purely enjoy eating this way. That is how I feel. Okay, so going back to after I started eating the meat and I was feeling so much better, I had lost weight. And keep in mind too, a lot of people will get hung up on, well, was it all about the weight loss? Absolutely not. Of course, that was a big component, because what happens when you're overweight? You don't feel your best. I couldn't do the things I wanted to do. A lot of it was water weight. So how does that feel when you have a lot of water weight around your ankles and your stomach and in your arms and in your face? It doesn't feel good. Your feet get swollen when you're out. It's it is a real thing. There's a reason that the doctor weighs you as soon as you get to the doctor. That indicates a lot of things, especially when we get to be in our 30s, 40s, 50s, and above. So it wasn't all about the weight, but when you lose 30 pounds, let's see, when I started, I was 152 pounds. Today, when I weighed 115.8. So that just, I don't know what that would mean to you, but this is 5 years later. I think the highest I've ever gotten since then might be 125, but that was like for a day or so. And then I leveled right back out at 122. And I just tell you this just for frame of reference. It's not that you have to weigh a certain amount. It's not that you need to be concerned. All of us come to this way of eating for different reasons. But because I'm here telling my story, I want to tell you what worked for me and how it felt and the different things I experienced. And your journey is going to be totally different. And it would benefit others if you tell them about your journey. Now, a lot of times people, they want to hear your story, but they don't really want they just want to hear it. They're not ready to take action. And I understand that. So that's why I created my online carnivore course. It's for those people that want to take action. I still will present the information just like I am here. Matter of fact, the first module or chapter in this is a 2-hour live that I did with many of you the first day. Then, because this is my first course, you have to start messy sometimes, and then you perfect and you do micro tweaks and you get better as you go. So I've done several different styles, but always trying to help you from my experience. So today I thought we would talk about mindset, and then I'm getting ready to add another module. I've started using my iPad here, which seems to be consistently out of juice. So let's see. I just pulled up, the last one we did was intermittent fasting and carnivore, using it the right way. We have a chapter on cholesterol and how to talk to your doctor. We have a chapter on plant toxins like oxalates and why they bother us. Okay, so today we are talking about the carnivore mindset, being able to finish what you start and little tips that will help you. Now, I'm a now you know kind of person, and I feel like that is one of the best things about carnivore is that it will not take long. Sorry, I'm scooting back, so I'll be in here. It doesn't take long for you to feel the difference. With me, it was a week. And I feel like once you experience that, now you know, even if you fall off the wagon, you will know, wow, these few little handful of pretzels really didn't make me feel good. And there's a lot of value in that. So let's start off with, this is not a diet, it's a return to design. Okay, first of all, don't approach this like a diet. Approach this like you are doing something. You are just merely changing what you put in your mouth. Always remember, I remember hearing someone say this and it stuck with me so strong. It was one of those sentences that you're in your mind, it's like bold letters. You control what you put in your mouth. You do. And that sounds so brutal. We know that, but it's so true. And when I heard that, I was like, wow, if someone could just tell me what to put in my mouth. And that's what I want to help you with. So don't think of it as following a trend, changing the rest of your life. Don't think of it that way. Just think of it as you are taking this power back. You are going to knowingly choose these things, at least for a month, I would say, and you are going to see how it feels. Because if you start thinking, you start thinking about it, you start telling everybody about it, you start watching all of these people that are way more qualified than I am. They're doctors. They're probably certified in some way. You are going to get so bogged down with the rules. Just the other day, I had someone message me and wanted to know how much meat are they supposed to eat. And I don't think that is what you should be focusing on, especially in the beginning. We always can fine tune and redirect our diets along with everything else in life. But you just want to experience getting control of your life because it's powerful. It is so powerful to know that I am doing this. I've got this discipline, I've got this self-control, and we do talk about setting yourself up for success in the course because that is a part of it. And I feel so good. And I'm not going to think to myself, this is how I'm going to eat for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life, I'm never going to have birthday cake. I'm never going to have French fries. Don't think about that in the beginning. Just focus on healing. Focus on trying it. See if you feel better. Your joint pain. I used to have to get prednisone. Is it prednisone? I think so. Shots in my hip because I had hip pain. I had pain in my joints. Honestly, when I started this, I couldn't believe it. I was so just blown away. I hated to even let the words come out of my mouth. And if you've been here with me through this journey, you can go back and watch those videos. It was just amazing. So this is a lifestyle, and it's actually, think of it as taking your power back. Okay, instead of saying I'm trying carnivore, saying I'm becoming a woman who honors my body, because that is a lot of it. I think, and my next module in carnivore is going to be things that sabotage us. And I think a lot of us, especially as women going through menopause, it's easy to think, oh, it's just because of menopause. There's no way I'm going to be able to feel any better. Oh, it's just because of my age. Oh, I have this problem. I have that problem. And you will be able to go to doctors and they will be able to verify that and give you some medications. Believe me. But if you think of it as honoring your body and honoring your life and honoring your family, your husband, because I'm telling you, 200%, I'm a better mom, I am a better wife, I'm a better daughter, I'm a better YouTuber, I am a better person because I started eating this way. It has touched every single part of my life. And I can't think of one thing that it has affected my life in a negative way. I really can't. It's just been nothing but fabulous. Your results will allow you to follow your identity. So lead from belief, not pressure. Exactly. Have faith in yourself. That's one of the reasons I'm here. I'm not necessarily an accountability coach because that's not my personality. I'm never going to be the one that will fuss at you, but I will be the one that will say, now you know, let's start again. That happened to me, or this worked for me. That's what I want to share from you. Okay, cravings, detox symptoms, and emotions, all of this is part of the healing. So we don't want the discomfort of beginning this to cloud what we're doing, because in the beginning, there is going to be a detox phase. Many studies have shown that rats prefer sugar to cocaine. That's how addicting it is. And not to mention our lifestyles and just comfort food. We talked about that in my course. It's a big deal. It is a big deal. Honestly, it's a bigger deal than I even imagined, even when I started. I never knew it was going to affect my life this way. So cravings, detox symptoms, emotions rising, all of this is part of that. And we don't want you to panic, or like a lot of people just really panic that first week. What am I going to do when I go to work? Take a Tylenol for your headache. Maybe just realize you're going to be tired. If you've ever done even keto or Atkins, you know you experience that flu. We did this years ago when there wasn't all these Element and, electrolyte drinks. But if you feel like you need that, there are so many on the market. So you could do that if you wanted to. I just sucked it up and went through it. And I'll be honest with you, other things felt so great. My mind, the clouding, which is like inflammation in your brain, everything felt so wonderful. That was the least of my worries. A headache? Give me a break. Being tired? Being a little achy? I was used to all that. But the benefits started almost immediately. I would say almost like my mindset or my depression, the feeling of I am doing something, I'm in control, it's getting better, I'm going to be okay, I have a future. That's how I felt. So lean in and let it pass a little bit and just parent yourself. Be your best friend. Say, come on, girl, you got this. What would Lisa do? What would Lisa say? And I'll be here for you. I'm not going anywhere. Okay, sticking to this carnivore diet and discipline, you have to think of it as self-love. I was a person, like a lot of things still to this day are so gimmicky to me in the whole self-improvement, self-development world. Even if I've been doing it all of my life, I didn't call it that. And self-love is one of those. And a lot of people get kind of misunderstood when they're talking about it. This is what I mean. We have to take care of ourselves, especially in every role in life. When you love yourself and you are the center of your world, of course, someone mentioned, wasn't God first? Of course. I'm talking about on this earth. When you love yourself and you put yourself first, you will give from overflow. That is a much more beautiful energy for your family, for your husband, for your parents, for your siblings, for your community, than giving from a half empty cup. So a lot of this is just a difference in your mindset. I am putting myself first. I am looking at this as a part of self-love. I am going to, next time my kids and my husband get up to walk down the beach, I'm going to go with them because it made me feel terrible to feel so bad about myself that I sat in that chair and I didn't want to go. John would have after work functions that he would want me to meet him. I didn't feel like going. I wasn't proud of how I looked. I didn't feel good. I was tired. I was overwhelmed. I was depressed. And I didn't take part in those things. You don't even realize it at the time that you're letting these things affect your life. And it's just, that's why I'm over and over talking about this, despite all the negativity that I have experienced. And I will say it's such a different world now because it's so much more accepted. This is the ancestral diet. And there are so many studies, the Harvard studies, different things that you will not know about mainstream. For the Food and Drug Administration and the just whole food pyramid to count things like cereal and Fruit Loops to be included in that, that gives you an idea. Now, if you're someone like my husband, John, he eats whole foods. Okay, he does splurge every once in a while, but he's a whole food eater. Last night he was eating a banana and he said, "Oh my God, but this has so many carbs in it." I said, "John, it's not about that." For him, he doesn't have that many issues. He does notice that when he eats carnivore or keto, I would say ketovore for him. He notices he doesn't snore, he sleeps better, his hands aren't swollen, his back feels better so he can play more golf. He has realized that just by, he watched me, he experienced the rebirth of me and my just whole attitude and just everything in my life, just like 10x for sure. And so, I never, ever have tried to push this on anyone, but when people see it, like you guys saw it when I was going through the transition, they want to try it and they feel that way. But with him, if he does it, if now he knows. Now he knows. Okay, so if you do, fall off the wagon, make sure you reflect, reset, and return. Okay, you can't, this goes right into the next point. I'm bad about that. I am a very feminine energetics person. I will always approach you with sharing, not telling, and I am all about the flow of a conversation. So I will make these talking points and then go ahead and back. So that's part of my style too. You can't wait for your husband and your friends or your family to get it. And we talk about this. This is bizarre. This is against everything that we've been talked about. We even talk about the whole sunscreen and getting so much more tan and everything when you're on carnivore and why that is. Don't wait. And honestly, don't tell them. Don't blast out to everyone. And I know it's hard not to because you get excited and you want to talk about it with other people. But I will tell you, in the beginning, you didn't want to tell anybody. Now, 5 years later, when I tell someone, they're impressed. They want to know more about it. Oh yeah, I want to try that. Even waiters, waitresses, John talks about it to people at the gym. When we go out to eat with other couples, get ready for the attention because they're going to ask you about it. But when you are sitting there feeling your best self, you are happy, you are successful, you are beaming, you are going to magnetize that energy, and you are going to want to share with them, and they're going to want to hear it. It's a totally different thing than, I don't know, in the beginning, you might just want to keep it on the down low until you are feeling it. I'll say that. You go first. They will feel your peace and strength, and some will follow. That is true. That is so true. Brooke, I remember one day us sitting at the pool. That's my daughter. She's 25. And she was upset with herself. And she was upset with feeling bloated in her bikini at the pool. And she said she had pasta the night before. And this is something I've gotten better about, is the difference when someone says something to you. Do they want to just talk to you, or do they want your advice or your guidance? Well, I didn't know that whole concept back then. And I said, well, Brooke, and I'd never really lectured her. I said, but that's the thing about pasta. I said, think about all those noodles in your stomach. They're still there. They're just absorbing a bunch of fluid and they've blown up. I said, think about a bowl of pasta like the next day. And she was like, I'm too young to not have pasta. And so I kind of reeled it back in. And from that moment, I have never said anything to her. But what started happening a few years ago? Mama, I'm going to get the same thing you get at McDonald's, which is just the burgers and the cheese, no bun, no french fries. And now, like even this morning, she came over she works with me, and she loved how much she weighed because she weighs when she gets over here. And she said, I even snacked yesterday. I had an Aunt Annie's pretzel with butter on it. She said, but I've really noticed that not snacking at night helps. And I was like, oh, I love it. I love for her to learn those things herself. Will, my son, who's 21, I would love for him to do a little bit more, but he's not ready. So I don't push it on anyone. I really don't. And my parents know. So I don't have to. They really realize it, and they've seen what's happened within me. Okay, you won't always feel motivated. That is normal. You have to keep your vision forefront, your vision for your life, not just your vision for how you want to look. It's kind of like when you think of a vision board. What do you put on a vision board? I'll be honest with you, I've never really done a vision board, but I always have a vision board in my mind. I know the things that I am dreaming of. I know the things that are important to me. I knew 5 years ago what was important to me. Being successful at my YouTube career, still continuing to love fashion, traveling, and IBS was putting a major damper on my traveling. I knew what my visions were. So even in those moments that I might have had a headache, I might have wanted birthday cake, all those things, I kept my vision. What do I want? What do I want? What do I want? What's more important? This is what really would help me. I would think of, if you ate a whole birthday cake, say you let yourself eat the whole cake, because I'm someone who doesn't want to be limited. I don't want to share my things. I don't want you to tell me I can only have one piece. I have always been that way. If you let yourself eat the whole pie, the whole cake, how long does that last? Really? How long does that good feeling and those endorphins and serotonin and all of those things, how long does that last? Would you say an hour max? But how long will you feel bad? How long will you feel bad physically? How long will you feel bad mentally? How long will it take you to, even if you were to get right back on the wagon, how long will it take? Well, I have an idea, even though I have nightmares of that happening. I have nightmares of forgetting that I'm on the carnivore diet and I eat like a muffin or something. And it is terrible. I mean, it is a pure nightmare. But even when I was in the beginning testing different foods, and I would eat, for instance, the avocado or green beans. One time I had a peach tea. Like, these are things that I felt the wrath within a few days. Sucralose, I can tolerate aspartame. I cannot tolerate sucralose on a daily basis. I learned that when Diet Sierra Mist switched over to Starry. Starry made me very sorry, and it took, just to give you an idea, when something irritates me like that, because I'm so in tune with my body now, it takes about 3 days. It takes about 3 days for those things to get out of your system. So think about how long it takes for that cake to get out of your system. It just isn't worth it. It just isn't worth it to me. And I think once you get your mindset right, it won't be worth it to you either. Okay, let me go on. We go over things like that in the course. Okay, anchor in your why. I've done a video on that before. You have to know your why and you have to keep it fresh in your mind. Why am I not eating this birthday cake? Why am I not eating the chips? The other night I went out with friends. I didn't even think about eating those chips and salsa. Why am I not? Because I am the one at this table that feels so wonderful. I'm going to feel wonderful tomorrow. And I'm not saying that they didn't, but I know I'm going to feel good. That's so valuable to me. Everyone's different, but that's more valuable than the chips to me. Okay, let's go. There will be easy days and there will be hard days. I would say, what are the hard days? I would say my hardest days. One time when I went out of town, I was visiting a friend and she told me we were going to a brunch. Well, it was at this fancy little cottage where everything was pretty much catered in. It was beautiful. All the other ladies had empanadas and muffins and everything. And I got a little cheese plate. I was starving because this was probably the second or third day I had been there. And when we had gone out to eat, if I were paying for it, I would order 2 steaks. I would order a steak and a chicken breast. I would make sure I was full. But not only was I staying at her home, and other people were paying for the dinners. I lost like 3 pounds when I got back from that. That was tough. I looked at those empanadas. I could have torn up like 5 of them. But that's not my identity. That's not who I am. I would just never think about it. I have no decision fatigue because it's already there. I am confident in myself. I trust myself and I have self-discipline, and I knew that the hunger pains shall pass. I remember begging her just to pull over at the McDonald's so I could just get a Diet Coke. Oh my gosh, it was tough because I was having to eat totally different things and I wasn't dependent on myself. So that was a lesson. That will not happen to me again, I promise you. Okay, but success is getting back in the rhythm better each time. Exactly. Success is me knowing now not to do that. That won't happen. And I set myself up for success really in every aspect of my life, but I really do with this, and it's taught me a lot. Okay. Don't wait for it to get easy. Decide to be strong. That's easier said than done, isn't it? It really is easy. I've heard someone say it's simple but not easy. It's so simple, but it's not easy. But the confidence that you will gain will help you. Well, that's not going to be there at first because you haven't done it. If you need to, think of other things that you're confident about and do some good self-talk and just try to always be on your side. Self-love. It's the biggest form of self-love. It always will be, to depend on yourself and to trust yourself and to have self-discipline. It is true. The moment you decide, the mindset begins to lock in. That is so true. Even when I was on Atkins or keto, or a lot of times in my 40s before menopause, I could really stay very thin and feel good just by eating low carb during the week and splurging on the weekends. Well, that quit happening for me. But you know what would happen every time I went out of town? First of all, I would go off the rails, even if I thought I wasn't. And the stress of what am I going to eat? Am I going to be able to be at that party and not eat the sweets? Am I going to be able to be in New York and not eat the cookies and not eat the pizza and all of that stuff? That would stress me out so bad. And then I would get there, I would go off the rails, my clothes wouldn't look good, it just went downhill from there. And I was upset with myself. Honestly, every time someone tells me that they fell off the wagon, the first thing that I think of, and I am not a I told you so person, it's not in me. But the first thing I think of is you let yourself get too hungry. You let yourself get too hungry. In the beginning, you need to stay full and satisfied, and you need to have so much good stuff around you all the time. That is something I can help you with. Okay, this is more than about weight loss. You're healing your mind. Honestly, guys, if you will just look up and study for yourself the brain-gut axis, the mind and your gut. I have that book. I can't remember what it's called. I had no idea. I had no idea that you have neurons in your gut and that is a lot of where your serotonin is produced. And so no wonder when your gut is inflamed, angry, and making you pull over on the side of the road and run in restaurants to go to the bathroom, no wonder you're feeling depressed. honestly, take this on as a total, just a revamp of your personal development. That's what I did, and it has been so rewarding. You're becoming a woman who leads, not just in food, but in your life. I keep saying everything before I should. It's just so much more than weight. It really is, because the satisfaction of just weight loss, I don't know if you're like me, but that's kind of fleeting. Just weight loss will get in your head and you think, oh, it's not going to hurt if I just cheat this one time. And then you'll cheat. I didn't gain that much. I only gained 1 pound. And then it snowballs from there. Just weight loss has never been something that changed my life. This feeling better, feeling happy, being more to those who I love, that's what's changed my life. Okay, so let me show you my outfit of the day, because that is part of my life. I am wearing one of those Amazon dresses that I showed you a few weeks ago. I love the yellow. I've always liked bright yellow, but now I'm even getting into the butter yellow. I'm wearing my Louboutin nude rose flip-flops. I will link everything below, but these are really pretty too. Gorgeous. Nothing like a red bottom flip-flop. And then, let's see, of course, my accessories are my go-to petite hoop earrings, my golden tiger ring, OPI, put it in neutral on my nails, wedding ring. Is that it? That's it. Oh, and Ideal Diamonds necklace. These are lab created diamonds. Beautiful. You're beautiful. Thank you for being here. And I will link my carnivore course down below. The way it works is if you sign up, you are locked in, and each additional video that I post, you will be notified by email, and you can watch everything. I want all of my courses to just be like living courses where I can always feel free to add more to them. Every single one will be this way, but there will be an introductory price, and it will go up as I add more information. And I really think that you'll enjoy it. I think it'll bring something different to what you've learned here from the doctors and things. I look forward to seeing you there and in the next video. Bye-bye.